Got your Bibles? That sounded just like Aaron, didn't it? Got your Bible? Go to Luke chapter 12. Luke chapter 12. If you need a Bible, hold up your hand. We'll get you one. Brad's getting it right there. Luther needs one. Anybody else? Okay, Luther's got one. Anybody else need one? Right here? Need it? Anybody? All right. Luke chapter 12. As soon as Aaron and Nick stop talking, we'll get started. That ain't ever going to happen, by the way. Luke chapter 12. Everybody find it? We're going to be in verse 35. Luke chapter 12. We're going to start in verse 35. Last several weeks, and I'm not making any claim that I know how many days Jesus taught, over how many days Jesus taught these things, or how many people, but let's pay attention that over and over and over again, Jesus is trying to warn his folks. He's trying to warn his folks that there's trouble ahead. There's trouble ahead. Look in Luke chapter 12. Let's review while we're getting everybody settled. Luke chapter 12. The first thing Jesus warns them about, he tells them to watch out, to be careful, pay attention. And the first one was what? Luke chapter 12. I heard it. Say it aloud. Hypocrisy. All right. While we're getting settled still, talk to me. Hypocrisy, Jesus says this is such a serious deal. This can cost you your eternal life. Hypocrisy is a bad deal. But tell me what's so bad about it. Tell me what's so bad about it. It's deceitful. At the root of it, it's a lie. And that keeps you from receiving what the Lord is trying to teach you, and it makes you where you're pretending to do what you're not really willing and able to do. Hypocrisy will damage you, and Jesus says, watch out for hypocrisy. Now look at the next, keep going to the next paragraph. He also then said, make sure you pay attention, watch out for, protect yourself from greed. Now, easiest definition, easiest real life definition to greed. Selfishness, wanting more than you need, and it's built into it is that more. I want more. Now, why is it dangerous? Why is it dangerous? Jesus says it's dangerous. Jesus says it can cost you your life and cost you your soul. So why is greed dangerous? There's no limit to it. Why is greed dangerous? In fact, he says in Colossians 3, he'll say that greed is idolatry. It's putting something before God. That'll cost you your soul. Now then the next thing, he doesn't warn us in the same way that he warned them, say, watch out for hypocrisy, watch out for greed. But he does want them to be careful not to worry. Now, what's a big deal about worry? Why is it a problem? Yeah, all your focus is on you. You're not trusting in God. You're focused on yourself. Why is worry so important? Why is it so dangerous? Yeah, worry is a prayer to the wrong God, I've heard. Last call. Worry is a distraction. Above everything else, it's a distraction. It keeps you from thinking about who matters most and what matters most. It's always about, and you know when it gets started, like when you worry, do you get like one flash of worry and then you've solved the problem and you move on? What am I going to do if this happens? Oh, I'm going to do that when that happens. Okay, I'm good. I'll go. No. What happens? Rum and rum and run. It goes around and around and around. It keeps you distracted, and it keeps you distracted from what matters most and the one you should trust the most. All right, now in Luke chapter 12, verse 35 through 48, he's going to tell them you need to be careful, you need to be ready. I'll use several words. You need to watch out for, and I'm going to give you a word. I'm going to give you a word that's going to be accurate, but you're going to have to wait till you get to the end to see it, all right? He said, I want you to watch out for judgment. I want you to watch out for judgment. Now, the moment I say judgment, somebody in this audience thinks second coming of Jesus. Somebody else thinks last day, end of the world. Okay, stop. Time out just a second. When we hear the word judgment, we have been so conditioned by our religious culture that we immediately start trying to figure out when. When's that going to happen? When that's going to, and I'm telling you what, there's all kinds of books written about it. There's all kinds of very important, very famous preachers that love to talk about it, even on cable news shows. There's folks that want to, social media is filled with people trying to figure out when that day is coming. Hang on. Jesus is going to remind us again what we've known all along, and I don't know why we didn't just accept it. But he says, you're not going to know the day or the hour. You're not going to know. It's going to happen when you don't expect it. So rather than focusing on when it's coming, what does Jesus want me to focus on? Verse 35. Verse 35. All right, I'm going to read it into the record, and you read with me, okay? We're in Luke chapter 12. I've been reminded to slow the roll and make sure that everybody knows where I am. We're reading from Luke. No, that's how I talk to the folks in the first meeting, not you. Y'all are way smarter than that bunch. Okay, here we go. Luke chapter 12, verse 35. Be dressed. Next word. Ready. Circle it. Underline it. Hold on to it. He said, be dressed, ready for service, and keep your lamp burning like men waiting for their master to return from the wedding banquet. Okay, the boss is off. He's gone went to a wedding. He's dressed, right, for the wedding, and he's coming back home, right? And so what does he want? What does he expect the servants to do? When they hear the knock on the door, oh, is that the boss? I guess I better get up and get dressed. No, he says you be dressed, you be ready, you have your lamp still burning, you be ready, because when he gets home and when he comes and knocks, they can, read it, immediately open the door for him. Stop. So I just learned, I just heard, Jesus just taught me the lesson. When there's a master coming home, when a master is returning, his servants need to be ready. Do they need to be sitting around thinking, I wonder when he's going to come home. I wonder when he's going to be here. I don't know, what am I going to do when he gets here? No. What do they need to do? Just be ready. Because if you're ready, guess what? You don't got to worry about anything. Just be ready. Keep reading. Oh, and I love this. And I got to tell you, verse 37, there are people in this room. There are people in this room that have read their Bible for 100 years. There are people in this room that have heard preaching for 100 years, and I'm one of them. And I'm going to read to you verse 37. And I have seen this before, but I've never held on to it, and I want to hold on to it. And I'm going to teach you something that you may never have seen before. Look in verse 37. Jesus on word to the fellows who open the door immediately, that have been ready, dressed, ready, and kept their lamps burning. It will be good for those servants whose masters find them watching when he comes. I tell you the truth. It's one of my fun things Jesus loves to say. Jesus will say, I'm going to tell you the truth. Like Jesus isn't going to lie to you. He's not going to lie to you, right? He said, I tell you the truth. He who? The master will dress himself to serve. What's the master dressed in? Wedding banquet clothes, master clothes. That's right. How did he dress for the wedding? Back in those days, he had to wear a wedding garment, right? So, I don't know if he's wearing a tux or what he's wearing, but he is decked out for the wedding, right? When he comes home and his fellas find him, the moment he knocks on the door, they open it, the lamps are burning, they're dressed and ready to serve him. He says, that is good. That is good. He said, here's what, he will dress himself. Read it. He'll dress himself to serve and have them who? Them who? The servants recline at the table. He will come and wait on them. He will wait on them. Did you know that's what his plan has been all along? When the master returns, he wants to reward us, reward his servants, let them recline at the table, and he wants to serve them. Now here's what's interesting. We should have known this all along. What did Jesus say he came to do? He said, I didn't come to be served. I came to serve. I even see him do it. One of the last times the disciples got to be with Jesus. Remember the fellows went fishing? A few of them. They didn't catch any fish. Obviously. Jesus standing on the beach said, did you catch any fish? They said, nope. He said, let your nets down on this other side. You'll catch fish. They caught so many fish they couldn't pull the net in. 153 fish, John says. They had to row that boat ashore. Peter had to swim because he jumped in the water, and he swam all the way to shore. They pull in that boat. But what's on the beach? Where Jesus is, what's on the beach? A fire, fish, bread, and Jesus said, you guys, y'all come have breakfast. You come break your fast. You come have who fixed it? Who got the bread? Who fixed the fish? Who started the fire? Jesus wants to serve. So, I can spend all my time if I want to trying to figure out when's the master coming? When's the master coming? I don't know what I'm going to do. When's the master? What do you think he's coming? You think he's coming because of what I heard about China? Did you think he's coming because of what I heard about Israel? You think he's coming because of what I... Quit worrying about what you heard and just be, one more time, just be ready. And will there be a reward when he comes? If you're ready. Keep reading. It'll be good for those servants whose master finds them ready when he comes in the second or the third watch of the night. But understand this. Stop. Anytime Jesus stops in the middle of a lesson and says, understand this, what do you know you ought to do? You ought to pay attention, right? You ought to sit up and say, okay, get my pencil ready. Underline this. But understand this. If the owner of the house had known, now he's using an illustration, had he known what hour the thief was coming, he would not have let his house be broken into. Now that makes sense, doesn't it? If you know when somebody's coming to your house to rob you, what do? You sit out on the front porch with your 38 and say, come on, right? They're not going to break in if you're ready, right? Verse 40. You must also be ready. Underline it, circle it. He says it again. Anytime Jesus repeats himself, what do you and I know? If Jesus repeats himself, what do you and I know? We need to remember it. He said, be ready, because the Son of Man will come at an hour when you do not expect him. Now, you want to spend your time trying to figure out what time that is and what judgment that is. Is he talking about the destruction of Jerusalem? Is he talking about the destruction of America? Is he talking about the end of the world? I'll let you spend the rest of your life trying to figure all that out. Read every book you want to read. Watch all the sermons you want to watch. Jesus made it clear. What matters most is be ready. Does it matter what judgment it is? Can there be a judgment on your family? Can there be a judgment that comes on your nation? Can there be a judgment that comes on your church? Can there be a judgment that comes on just your life? Yeah. So what should I do? One more time, what should I do? Be ready. Now, on the little outline I gave you, and I picked a word that spoke to me when I was writing it. It says, be available. One of the things I was always impressed about Jesus with, he was available. He was available to people. He had more places to go, more things to do. More places to go, more things to do than anybody I know. And yet when mamas wanted to bring their babies to him, what did he do? Made himself available. Tried to get all by himself and get some rest and let his fellas have some time to eat. They got in the boat and went across the Sea of Galilee to get away from all the people. All the people saw him and outran them to get to the other side. And what did Jesus do? Put the boat in reverse. Let's go back to the other side. No. He got out of the boat and he was available to them. I'm to live my life today available. Do I know when the Lord's coming? Well, I read this book and I talked to this preacher and I listened to this podcast and I saw this TikTok Twitch. They don't know. Quit wasting your time. Just decide that you're going to be ready. Be available. Keep reading. Now, I love Peter. You know me. You know what I think about this man. And when I read this, it makes me smile. Because this sounds like church people, if you've ever been around church people. Lord, are you telling this parable to us or to everyone? Does that sound church people to you? You talking to me? Because we love. In church people loved, and don't tell me you don't, I know you. We love to play church dodgeball. Preacher's thundered up there like a prophet and says, and the Lord said, whoa. And we go, ooh, that almost got me. Man, I hope Clint was listening. Man. Ooh, missed me. Ooh, I'm glad Samra was paying attention. No, what we usually say is, I hope the people that needed to hear that were listening. As if we were the ones that didn't need it. I suspect, if you want to answer Peter's question, the answer is, well, duh, Peter, I'm talking to you. Rex, I'm talking to you. He's talking to me. And I don't know why Peter asked the question, and I don't want to be mean to him, but he said, are you talking to me or are you talking to somebody else? And the Lord never stops. He just keeps talking. He said, let me tell you who the faithful and wise manager is, whom the master puts in charge of his servants to give them the food allowances at the proper time. It will be good, circle that word, we've seen it before, it will be good for that servant whom the master finds doing so when he returns. It will be good for that servant whom the master finds doing so when he returns. Okay, hang on. The man's doing what he's been told to do. The man's doing what Jesus, the Master, expects him to do, what would you call him? You're going to steal Jesus' word? Look at verse 42. Look at Jesus' word. He is a faithful manager. He's a faithful servant. He's doing what Jesus or the Master expects him to do. It will be good for that servant whom the Master finds doing so when he returns. Verse 44. There it is again. I tell you the truth. He will put him in charge of all of his possessions. So what did I just learn? If I am a faithful, I chose the word dependable in your outline. If I am faithful, if I am dependable, what does the Master do? He gives me more responsibility. He trusts me more. He entrusts more to me than he did before. That's the way it always works, right? Some folks here looking for jobs and have gotten jobs. And one of the things that keeps getting said over and over again is around here, honest, if you get a job, if you show up and you do the job, you stay at it very long, what happens? Man, you're going to run the place before long. That's the truth. I've talked to bosses, and they can't find good help. So if you show up and you're good help, guess what? Man, you'll own the place before long, right? That's what the Master says. Said if he's a faithful servant, I'm going to put him in charge of more. Now look at verse 45 and look at the first word. Circle the first word. But suppose that servant says to himself, my master's taking too long in coming. Oh, hang on. The moment you start thinking that the master's not coming, the moment you think that the master's delayed, you think the master has forgotten, you think the master is going to be a long time coming, when you start thinking you know when he's coming, what do? He starts doing what he wants to do. Look what he does. He begins to beat the men servants and the maid servants and to eat and drink and get drunk. Hang on. That is as human nature as anything I've ever read in the Bible. When we don't think there are consequences, what do? We do whatever we want, whenever we want it, however we want it, because nobody will ever know. Nobody will ever tell. Nobody will ever find out. You hear those words? You ever heard those phrases? Nobody will ever know. Nobody will ever tell. Nobody will ever find out. Nothing will ever go wrong. Nobody will get hurt. That's what happens when you think there are no consequences. Right now, I think probably we're all aware of it. Right now in our social media world, in our entertainment world, in our political world, there is a huge emphasis on no consequences. Somebody breaks into a store and steals stuff. If they get arrested, they don't have to give the stuff back. They don't have to pay a fine. They don't even have to put up any kind of bond because, well, they were misunderstood or there are no consequences. It happens in the political world. It happens in the entertainment industry. I'm not going to go into all that except to say that's the way human nature is. If there are no consequences, what will people do? Next time you want to try this experiment, I don't encourage you to try it, but the next time you want to try it, become a substitute teacher and go to the classroom and tell the kids there's no rules. You can do what you want, when you want, how you want, and you can't get in trouble. And they will sit in their desk and they will open their books and they will read and they will study and they will probably spend some time in prayer. Right? Wrong. Bible example. When Moses went up on the mountain and he was there 40 days and nights getting the commandments written with the finger of God in those tablets of stone, the people down at the foot of the mountain thought He's dead. He ain't coming back. And they broke loose. Bible says they broke loose and they rose up to play. And what do you do when you don't think there's any consequences? You do what you want to, when you want to, however you want to, right? That's what this guy does. Are there consequences? Now you said it, but I want you to prove it. Are there consequences? Verse 46. I need you to make sure you understand this is not coming from me. This is not coming from anybody that has any kind of political bent. This is not somebody that has any kind of influence in social media. This is just the word of Jesus. He says, the master of that servant will come on a day when he does not expect him, and an hour when he is not aware. Hang on. Have we heard this before? When that judgment comes, whether it's on that man or on that family or on that house or on that church or on that nation, it's going to come when you don't expect it. And he says, he will cut him to pieces and assign him a place with the unbelievers. Underline it. Remember it. With the unbelievers. Anybody have any doubt what Jesus means by he's going to make his place with the unbelievers? Are there consequences? That's all I'm trying to say. I think that's what the Lord's trying to teach us. There are consequences. We need to be ready, and we need to be faithful. We need to be available. We need to be dependable, because Jesus will hold us accountable. Now, you've grown up in a culture that has stopped seeing the consequences. It's years ago, years and years ago, I heard it. I won't tell you there's no need to mention anybody's name. You're aware of the culture. She looked at the camera, and with her most sincere spiritual voice said, "My God would never send anyone to hell." I remember, I wasn't all that old then, and I heard her say it, and I thought, millions of people are hearing this woman speak as if she knows the Lord, and she's telling them there are no consequences. There is no eternal judgment. What happens when you teach a culture that there are no consequences? What happens when you teach a culture that there are no judgment? They do what they want, when they want, however they want. I'm not speaking the judgment. I'm just telling you what Jesus says. That man's place will be among the unbelievers. There are consequences. I remember telling one of my kids who was close to me when I saw that lady say that. I said, well, her God may not have consequences, but the God of the Bible has consequences. Ask Adam and Eve. Ask the folks that spent almost a year on that boat with Noah. Ask the folks that ran for their life out of Sodom and Gomorrah. Ask the people who crossed the Red Sea and made it to the other side to watch God punish Pharaoh. There will be consequences. Now, verse 47 and 48. I'm not going to say, I'm going to read them. I'm going to read it into the record. But I'll explain. That servant who knows his master's will and does not get ready or does not do what his master wants. Stop. Did you notice both of those? What did he say? If he knows the master's will, but he does not get ready, and he does not do. He is not ready. He is not faithful. He is not available. He's not dependable. Keep reading. He will be beaten with many blows. There are consequences. I don't know all that's involved in those consequences. And if you want to spend your life and time trying to understand all the meanings of those words where God says things like darkness, an unquenchable fire, where the worm dies not, separated from the glory of God. If you want to spend your time trying to figure out all that means, okay, do it. Just don't invite me to the class. Because I don't care how the judgment's going to be taken. I don't want to be in the judgment. So if I know what my master wants, then I need to be ready and I need to be faithful. And if I'm not, there will be consequences. Now, verse 48. But the one who does not know the master's will and does things deserving punishment, so he does some things wrong, he just doesn't know the master's will, he'll be beaten with few blows. Flashing lights, clanging bells. There are preacher types in this room that are immediately saying, yep, that proves there's going to be layers of judgment in hell. You want to spend your time having that argument. You want to spend your time studying that theology. Go write it. You want to write a book about it? Do it. I'm not buying it. I don't care about many blows or few blows. I don't want any blows. How about you? So what do I need to do? I need to be ready and I need to be faithful. That's what he means. He said be ready, be faithful, and guess what? If you're ready and faithful, no blows. Are you telling me judgment is coming? Judgment is coming. Let's say, well, you don't know when it's coming. Let's see judgment's already happened. You're standing before the throne of God. And you knew His will, but you didn't do it. And you weren't ready. You were not faithful. You were not ready. How many blows you think I'm going to get, man? How many you think you're going to get? Is that what we're going to talk about? You going to worry about that? No, I don't want blows. I don't want many. I don't want few. So what do I need to focus on? Say it again. And, one more time, be. And be. You be available for folks when they need you, and you be dependable to the Lord when He calls you. Now, the last sentence of verse 48 is on me, okay? It's on me. I'm not going to talk to you. I'm not going to talk to you. I'm just going to talk to me out loud. From everyone who has been given much, much will be demanded. I'm not looking at you. I'm not shaking my finger at you. I'm not trying to make this point with you. I'm hearing Jesus speak to me. Everyone who has been given much, much will be demanded. And from the one who has been entrusted with much, much more will be asked. I'm going to read it one more time. I'm speaking this from Jesus to me. Lord, are you saying this to me or somebody else? He's saying this to me. From everyone who has been given much, much will be demanded. And from the one who has been entrusted with much, much more will be asked. I don't know. I'm not exaggerating. Not dramatizing anything. I'm being honest. And if you know me, and you've been around me for very long, and you've heard me teach over several years, you've heard me say things like this in the past, so I'm just confirming what I've believed for a while now. I don't know, listen to me, I don't know anybody who has received as much and been as entrusted with much from the Lord as I have. I don't know anybody. Starts with the way I was raised. Man, anybody who knew my mom and dad, you can only imagine how amazing it was, wonderful it was, incredibly blessed it was to grow up with them as mom and dad. We had a blessed, I had a blessed life. And the sacrifices they made to take care of us, and the sacrifices they made, I was the runt of that litter they had. And the way they took care of me, I had struggles with things the other boys didn't have, and they made sacrifices for me. They took care of things for me. And then for what they did to help me get an education, and what they did to help me spend the privilege of spending years of my life doing nothing but studying the Bible and getting to know God's will. They made all of that possible. God made all of that possible through them and through other people who loved me and trusted me. I betrayed that trust. I damaged that trust. I messed up all kinds of things. And yet then I was accepted again and forgiven and received and encouraged, and people sacrificed. There is nobody on the planet that's been given more than I've been given, and I've been entrusted with more than I've been entrusted with. I can't even begin to explain. But the point is not to prove that to you. That's just what I believe. But when I hear these words, here's what I hear. The Lord demands more of me. The Lord expects more of me. I'll let you decide. I'll let you decide what He demands of you. That's above my pay grade. I'll let you decide how much He expects of you. That's above my pay grade. That's not my business. But I'm telling you, when I finish these words today, God help me hold on to them. Because there's nobody been more blessed than me. Nobody's been given more than I have. Nobody's been entrusted with more than I have. And He demands for me to live up to what He has given me. He demands and expects of me to live as He's entrusted me. And I'd ask that you pray for me to help me live up to His expectations. Live up to what He demands of me. Let's remember Jesus. Now we've got some fresh faces.